The High Court judgment on the CAS position today marks the first major legal setback for President William Ruto's 10-month-old administration, and in what appears to be a continuation of a trend established during former President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, the High Court has once again asserted its authority on constitutional matters, quashing as unlawful 50 high-level appointments made by President Ruto. And as Brenda Wanga now reports, today's judgment bore the hallmarks on the judgment on the Building Bridges Initiative, the BBI, which saw the courts of law sending the political executive to the rails for engaging in constitutional misadventures.
I, Isaac Maigwa Mwaura.
For President William Ruto, the CAS judgment becomes an early but direct equivalent of former President Uhuru Kenyatta's BBI moment. In both cases, the interpretation of the Constitution was on the table, and in both cases, the High Court has delivered a firm indictment against executive misadventure, and effectively, the 4 months wait for the CAS appointed by President William Ruto has come to an end, with judges not falling short on some of the unforgiving lines.
It is therefore our considered view that the creation of a similar office to the Assistant Minister, now in name of CASs, cannot be created in the manner the first respondent and the fifth respondent proceeded. Based on the reasoning set out above, we do not think that it was the intention of the framers of the Constitution to have 50 CASs deputizing 22 cabinet secretaries.
The judgment strikes at the heart of the executive and its powers by faulting the president's exercise of powers that the courts say are not his to use. The president had appointed the CASs whose role isn't quite clear. Indeed, the judge is turning the president's attention to the relevant laws that have literally snatched the paycheck out of the CAS's hands and landed the president his first major loss.
Is that the CASs are, for all purposes, assistant cabinet secretaries, reporting directly to the ACS. The PS is relegated to the position where he reports to the CAS and the CS. Doubt is completely removed by their job description in Gazette Notice number 12432 of 12 October 2022 and duties specified therein, and the fact the CAS will be in a higher job group, CSG3, than the PS.
The courts also reminding the president of the limits of what he can and cannot do in relation to creating his government.
That the size of the cabinet secretaries is now capped at 22. Article 152 of the Constitution provides that the cabinet shall comprise of A, the president, B, the deputy president, C, the attorney general, and D, not fewer than 14 and not more than 22 cabinet secretaries.
The High Court upsetting of the apple cart for the presidency comes 3 days after a judge temporarily stopped the implementation of the controversial Finance Act 2023 in what is turning out to be President Ruto's earliest constitutional setbacks. But he isn't the only president to feel the burn from the judiciary's boldness under the 2010 Constitution. His predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, has dealt with an emboldened judiciary, right from the contested presidential election that led to the historic annulment of a presidential election result, and the second term of the Uhuru presidency, also seeing the courts assert itself by denying the former president his plan to implement the Building Bridges Initiative. The Ruto administration came into power with the promise to increase the financial independence of the judiciary and to respect the rule of law. But already, the same administration has locked horns with the executive over the implementation of the court's orders. The injunction against the implementation of the Finance Act has been ignored by the Kenya Kwanza administration. It remains unclear whether the executive will heed these latest court orders. The judiciary, long accused of aiding and abetting executive impunity by participating in the swearing-in of the CASs whose offices have now been declared unconstitutional, has redeemed itself with this judgment. But attention still remains on this arm of government as another case challenging the powers of the president has been filed here. Kenyans will be watching to see which way the judiciary goes. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.